Cup bluey. John Force just blew the thing up and slammed into the wall at the top end of the racetrack. Take a look at this. 302 miles an hour banging into the walls. You're going to watch Terry Haddock first puff the tire. He's going to pedal it. John's car starts moving around. And Cobb Bluey banks it off of the right wall, and then the real big hit, in my eye, looked like when he came back across. That is a big-time explosion for a guy that's had a lot of big-time explosions. Wow, he didn't even get that wall. I thought he went over and banked off one and came back for the other, but look at this thing. Traveling across the racetrack. Fortunately for Terry Haddock, he was slowed down to the point that he was out of the way, and, man, that is a big-time hit into the concrete down there. Said John Force has been through some very, very wild rides in his career.
The National Hot Rod Association, NHRA, has long prioritized driver and spectator safety in the sport of drag racing. Following the high-profile crash involving legendary driver John Force in Virginia during the 2024 season, the NHRA has taken additional steps to enhance safety protocols across its events. After the incident, the NHRA launched a comprehensive investigation to determine the causes and contributing factors of the crash. This included analysis of vehicle data, track conditions, and safety equipment performance. The findings from this investigation have informed several new safety measures. Here are the key safety measures implemented. Enhanced car construction standards. The NHRA has updated its technical requirements for top fuel and funny car chassis, emphasizing improved structural integrity and crash survivability. These changes aim to reduce the risk of driver injury and high-speed impacts. Upgraded on-track safety barriers. Many NHRA tracks have begun installing or upgrading energy-absorbing barriers, especially near the shutdown area and at points where cars are most likely to lose control. These barriers help dissipate impact forces and protect both drivers and track personnel. Advanced fire suppression systems. Following concerns raised by John Force's crash, all NHRA-sanctioned vehicles are now required to have state-of-the-art fire suppression systems capable of rapid deployment and covering both cockpit and engine compartments. Improved driver safety gear. The NHRA now mandates the use of next-generation helmet and head restraint systems, as well as fire-resistant suits with increased thermal protection ratings. Emergency response training. Track safety crews have received additional training focused on rapid extraction and medical intervention. Simulated emergency drills are now a regular feature during race weekends. Data monitoring and reporting. Vehicles are fitted with enhanced data loggers to monitor key safety parameters. In the event of an incident, data is immediately reviewed to help refine future safety protocols. Some of the other ongoing safety innovation. The NHRA continues to collaborate with engineers, medical experts, and drivers to identify new risks and develop innovative safety solutions. The organization is committed to reviewing and updating its safety standards as new technologies and insights become available. The 2024 crash involving John Force served as a catalyst for renewed focus on safety in drag racing. The NHRA's swift implementation of enhanced safety measures demonstrates its ongoing commitment to protecting drivers, teams, and fans. These changes are expected to set new benchmarks for motorsport safety in the years ahead.
Wow, what do you guys think about that information I was able to dig up about what happened last year in Virginia with John Force and that horrible, horrific crash he had that led to a traumatic brain injury, very severe, because he had a side impact on when he hit the wall over 302 miles an hour because of the parachute not deploying on his car, and that was pretty much caused by the body torquing and following the parachute system from deploying. And now I tried to find video of drivers that came out about that crash, but those seem to have dried up and went away. I couldn't find any. I know a lot of them, there's 4 or 5 drivers that came out after the wreck, and everybody blamed the device that attaches the body, keeps the body from flying off the car and becoming an airborne weapon. Tether, that was the word I was looking for, tether, because it's tethered to the frame now. And if it would have been able to clear like before the tether issue, it would have been clear of the car. The energy would have dissipated outside the car of the explosion, and the parachute system would have deployed. There was no doubt that it wouldn't have deployed. And the only thing that kept it from deploying was the body still stuck to the frame by that tether. And I know there was NHRA made some talk about that tether, that they were going to modify it or change it or remove it, but nothing ever came. Now it's over a year since that accident, and majority of what was talked about in my earlier and that I dug up, my information I shared, that majority of it has never been implemented. Back even in the 60s, NHRA seems like they never want to fix problems permanently or proactive in making the cars safer, the tracks safer, and making things safer for drivers. It took Don Garlitz on his own to get the motor taken from front of the car to back of the car behind him. It was much safer after he moved the engine. He had to design and build that car himself. Came back after for the new season with a weird car that nobody understood, being a rear engine dragster. And because he was finally fed up that NHRA wasn't doing anything proactive, because he lost half a foot when his transmission exploded. Because the driver with a front-mounted engine, not only can you get whacked in the head with a blower if it blows off, but the transmission can explode, become a bomb. They're sitting right on the transaxle, or not the transaxle, but the differential, and that can fly apart. There's been many drivers that get injuries to their legs, feet. He lost a half a foot. Others have been injured. Shirley McDowney got injured when a transmission blew up in her car. And when Don Garlick showed up with that rear engine car, NHRA was not happy with it. They said it wasn't safe, and they tried to keep him from using it, and he had to prove it all on his own. And even once it was proven he was allowed to race it, NHRA didn't make it a mandatory build with the rear engine dragster going forward, make it mandatory. They just kept going until more drivers got hurt. And finally, they made it mandatory. NHRA is not the only one that does it. I'll pick out a couple other examples. Look at NASCAR. NASCAR wouldn't fix anything. They had drivers dying. It took Dale Earnhardt to die before they implemented safe barriers, banned open face helmets, create the Hans device and other things. Like they built a where the driver sits is now encased with a cage around the seat. So when the driver gets strapped in, he's pretty much bulletproof in that spot. Can't move. Took the drivers a little bit to get used to where the steering wheel was and not have the flexibility to move around a little bit in the seat. But they got used to it. I'll give you one example from IndyCar. IndyCar decided one year in 2011 to take IndyCar to a NASCAR track in Las Vegas, and a lot of drivers said that's crazy. Those cars will be too fast on a high-speed track with high banks, and that's unsafe with open wheel cars. And nobody listened to the drivers. They raced it, and 15-car pileup between turn 1 and turn 2, and Dan Weldon was killed. You know, and there's other examples out there. I won't go into them. You can do your own research if you like. But it's just a horrible thing that I'm kind of pissed off that a wreck that happened to John Force didn't need to happen. They felt pressured to come up with all these new things, but over a year later, they're not been implemented yet, majority of them. And that kind of makes me upset that they don't really care about the driver's safety, it seems to me. You know, like I said, Don Garlits had to save his own ass. He got tired of waiting for NHRA to save them, save the drivers, make it safer. Yeah, so I'm going to get off my soapbox. I just hope one day things will be better and keep getting better so drivers like John Force don't have to end their careers early because of a bad accident. And John's still dealing with the results of that crash. He's still under doctor's care. He's just home. You know, you heard that he has officially retired from the sport, and is going to run the team to visit, see his grandkids, and be there for his family, and continue to run the business. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Please let me know in your comments what you think about how NHRA they're doing. How safe is NHRA's drag racing really? Has there been many improvements since Don Garlits? Really, truly? Does it upset you? Let me know in your comments. What do you think? Please, you know, and give us a like, give us a share. Definitely share this video. I want to get this out there, and I want the world, the fans of NHRA, to maybe as a group we can help push NHRA to make the sport safer. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. And if you're not a subscriber, definitely hit that red subscribe button when you're down there leaving a comment. And hit the bell icon. That way you won't miss any episodes. And yeah, it looks like in a couple weeks we're going to hit 10,000 subscribers. I'm going to post a video when that happens. And I couldn't have done it without all of you. So thank you for the support. Thank you for helping grow Gearhead Man. All right, we'll see you all next episode. Everyone be safe out there.